Victoria sandwich cake. To this American mind, it conjures images of the enigmatic British tea time. So as part of this taste test, I will be attempting to make a proper cup of tea using this Fortnum and Mason Royal Blend. The last time I made tea, there were lots of comments that it was too strong. Many called it builder's tea, so I will be more careful with the measurements this time. For the Victoria sandwich, we are starting with 225 grams of cake flour. It has come to my attention that plain flour in the UK has less protein and is more finely milled than all-purpose flour here in the States. So it produces softer baked goods with a more tender crumb. Luckily, we have cake flour, which is a good substitute for plain flour. That's what I'll be using. Into that, it says to add 2 3/4 teaspoons of baking powder and half a teaspoon of salt to make it the equivalent of self-rising flour. And then you add another teaspoon of baking powder. Now I need 225 grams of sugar, and it calls for 225 grams of baking spread or butter.
But the secret to a perfect sponge is to use 225 grams of baking spread straight from the fridge.
I did watch Mary Berry's video making this recipe, and she uses baking spread. Wasn't 100% sure what that is. I thought maybe margarine spread. I'm not sure. I got the butter and canola oil mixture here. She said that it is about getting the texture right.
I used to use butter. It's quite difficult to get the butter just at the right consistency.
So this should be a good texture compared to what I saw her use. This recipe seems a lot like what I would call a pound cake, where it's a pound of sugar, pound of butter, pound of flour, pound of eggs. Equal measurements of all of those things. So it should be interesting to see how this comes out. And into this, I'm adding 4 eggs. All right, so it just says to combine all ingredients and beat well for 2 minutes until smooth. So this is super simple so far. I'm just going to take this and divide it evenly between 2 pans that I have sprayed and put parchment in. And they go into the oven for about 25 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 180 C. I turned the timer on 20 minutes and I will check them then to see how much longer they need. At 25 minutes, the toothpick is coming out clean on here. I'm gonna let these cool in the pan for just a minute. Then we're gonna turn them out onto the wire rack. Oh, that was no fun. I guess I didn't spray the pan well enough, yikes. Oh, well, that one came out all right. I got one of the cakes out of there just fine. The other one, not so much. I guess I didn't spray the pan well enough. It's unfortunate. But I decided to make a Victoria sandwich cake because it was on the first episode of the first series of the Great British Bake Off. Getting Mary Berry's cookbook inspired me to go back and start watching the Great British Bake Off from the beginning. And I don't think it came here to the US until after a few seasons have been out, because I don't remember seeing this season before. I don't know how much I've watched. I don't know. But it inspired me to go through and start with the technical challenges from the first episode on through. Not consecutively, I'll sprinkle them here and there. But this is my attempt at the first technical challenge, Mary Berry's Victoria sandwich cake. And I would have already lost points for, for the crumbling cake. I'm gonna let these cool and we'll come back. It'll be time to assemble this cake, make some tea, and give it a taste. I'm gonna put the slightly messy one on the bottom, I guess. Maybe it'll be less obvious, though I'm really unhappy with the sunken middles here. I don't know, maybe I didn't mix them long enough. Maybe I mixed them too long. Maybe I should have used all-purpose flour instead of cake flour so they would have had more structure. The world may never know. I need 4 tablespoons of strawberry preserves on here. Just want to spread these evenly. Stack the other cake on top and then dust it with powdered sugar. Let's put this on a sheet pan so I don't get powdered sugar all over the dang place. All right, so it has a few issues, but I think it's lovely enough. We got a couple of nice angles to it. And then a couple of angles where it's a bit messy. All told, in its final form, I think it's a good first attempt. Switch this to the cake plate. Move this to the table, and let's get to making some tea. Taste test time. So apparently it should be 1 teaspoon of tea leaves per 8 ounces of boiling water. So I have 16 ounces of water in the kettle here. I'm gonna open up this tea and see what it smells like. How do I do this? Open up, open up! There we go. Oh. It's a very, very nice mild tea scent. It smells good. So let's see, teaspoon 1 and 2. Let's read about this tea while the water is boiling. It's really hard to read this 10. Fortnum and Mason began trading in 1707 and quickly established a tradition for quality service that has been consistently maintained. Today, Fortnum and Mason has an international reputation for exclusivity and quality. Y'all will have to let me know if this is actually good tea or if they're just hoodwinking me as an American, making it sound all British and fancy. I was browsing Williams-Sonoma, which is a bit of a bougie store here, and I saw this and I thought, well, that looks British. And indeed it is, so I thought I would give it a try. Okay, with the water to boil, I'm going to pour it over the tea leaves. And let that steep for 5 minutes is what I researched. While that is going, let's cut a piece of the Victoria sandwich. I'm gonna try to do this without making a giant mess. Okay, so here is the slice, and you will have to let me know if the crumb on this cake looks even vaguely appropriate, or if perhaps I overmixed it or undermixed it. All right, the tea is done in 5 seconds. There we go. So it is a very light sort of amber golden color. So that looks very delicate to my eyes. It smells nice, like a nice delicate tea. And the container says it is best served with a little bit of milk. So that is what I'm doing. Just pour just a splash of milk in there. I hope that is an appropriate color. It's a very pleasant cup of tea, very mild and delicate, but it's delicate in a way that a lot of teas aren't. There's no additional bitterness or whatnot. Pearl, I had a package delivered, and now she's decided to play with the paper it came wrapped in and make a lot of noise. You're making noise. I'm trying to film. Well, that's great fun. So if you hear rustling, it is Pearl playing with the paper in the background. What was I saying about the tea? It's a very nice, delicate cup of tea. Very, very lovely. I would brew it stronger for my personal tastes. It does seem a little bit light for what I prefer, but let's try it with the cake. It is an even crumb to this, fairly wide open. So I'm really not sure. The top sank in a little bit, but there's no undercooked area. And I did realize that I cooked it in 9-inch rounds instead of 8-inch rounds like the recipe called for, because I don't have 8-inch rounds. So maybe that affected the center as well. Cheers for the Victoria sandwich. Okay, that's a very nice cake. It's soft and delicate, but it has a good structure. The cake isn't terribly sweet, although it's fairly sweet. And the strawberry preserves are really sweet. So I'm glad that I just followed the recipe and didn't use more than 4 tablespoons of them. Let's try a bite of the cake with the tea. It's lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. And I'm going to finish off the rest of this tea real quick and then try the second cup after it's brewed a little bit longer. Oh, it is still hot. Wowzers. Pearl, don't play with that. She is in a feisty mood right now. So, the Victoria sandwich cake, I'm going to give a... can I give it a 9.5 out of 10? I haven't done half stars yet. It's not quite a 10 out of 10, and that is most probably a skill issue. But boy, is this my cup of tea, if you'll pardon the phrase. 9.5 out of 10 for the Victoria sandwich. And for the Fortnum and Mason tea, in terms of teas that I've had so far, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. What do I know about tea? But it's definitely pure tea flavor with no bitterness or weird other flavors. I don't know how to describe it. So let me know if I should have tried other blends of this Fortnum and Mason tea rather than the Royal blend. They had a wide variety of them, probably 20 or 30 different types. And let me know if I should have tried something else other than the Royal blend. This is pricey, okay? So I can't go out there buying willy-nilly. This will break the bank. And they also had biscuits, Fortnum and Mason biscuits, which looked really tasty. But again, they also looked like they would break the bank when I did a peek at the price point. So it's going to be a special occasion if I buy a packet of those. Let me know if I should. I'm thinking after tasting this that it is the real deal, but please let me know, is this the real deal, or is it, have I been a sucker for marketing? So 10 out of 10 for the Fortnum and Mason Royal Blend, 9.5 out of 10 for the Victoria Sandwich. That is all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you have liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. That helps more than you can know. If you have not already and would like to, please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the future.